miss you so badly. And Sarah and I think about you all the time. And we want you back with us, please. And we love you. We miss you. And happy birthday, Abby. And also, and to anybody out there.
On October 9th, 2013, at 14 years old, Abby Hernandez was on her way home from school when she suddenly disappeared. With little to no clue to work with, officers raced around the clock to find the young girl before it was too late. But just as the case seemed to grow cold, a letter turned up in her mother's mail and turned the investigation upside down. 9 months after her disappearance, Abby returned home with a story no one could have ever seen coming. What exactly happened to Abby? How did she disappear? And how did this 14-year-old schoolgirl beat the odds and survive a nightmare beyond measure? Born on October 12, 1998 in Manchester, New Hampshire, Abigail Hernandez was a 14-year-old cheerful and kind-hearted girl known for her close relationship with her mother, Xenia. She was a huge fan of animals and classic rock music and frequently enjoyed outdoor activities such as hiking with her mother. To her friends, she was known for her fun and silly personality, and she even had a boyfriend named Jimmy with whom she exchanged texts regularly. Attending Kennett High School in North Conway, New Hampshire, Abby was always outgoing and was involved in sports and academic pursuits like studying German and robotics. In general, she was known as a ray of sunshine and loved by many. However, everything would change on the evening of October 9th, 2013, just 3 days from her 15th birthday. The day had started like any other. Abby was in 9th grade and was on her way back home from school. Like many students, Abby walked home. Living with her mom and sister Sarah, Abby had been doing this for a while and had never gotten home later than agreed. Leaving school around 2:30 p.m., Abby was last seen by the school's librarian as she texted her boyfriend and began her walk home. And although she had made this trip multiple times and her house was only 1 mile away from the school, Abby never made it home and wouldn't return for 9 months. Upon getting home from her job as a nurse, Xenia was faced with a harrowing scenario. Her daughter was nowhere to be found and her phone wasn't reachable. Rightly scared, she took to the streets to search for her daughter, but sadly couldn't find her. Faced with a nightmare, she called the cops and reported a missing persons case around 7:30 p.m. that day. After making the report, the police jumped into action as a massive search was organized, with authorities searching over 1,000 acres of neighboring forest. Horrifyingly, the police found the remains of 2 people, but none of them turned out to be Abby. After reviewing CCTV footage from the school
for an extended period, as seen on surveillance footage when she was leaving school that day, text messages,
officers concluded that she had walked across the field hockey field before turning onto a power line trail near the school between 2:30 and 2:35 p.m. After asking around, they also found out from witnesses that she was walking along that trail and moving away from the school. Further investigation showed that during this time, she was texting back and forth with her boyfriend Jimmy, with her last text to him being a heart emoji sent at 2:53 p.m. Using this information, police were able to track the location where her cell phone last pinged and determined that her cell signal disappeared around 3:07 p.m., approximately a mile away from her house. After that, her phone stopped receiving any signals. Filled with hope, Xenia and her other daughter Sarah made a tearful plea on TV at the steps of the Conway police station 3 days after Abby went missing.
Please come home, and we miss you so badly. And Sarah and I think about you all the time. And we want you back with us, please. And we love you. We miss you. And happy birthday, Abby. And also, and to anybody out there who knows anything or noticed anything, if you noticed any change in Abby, those kids who knew Abby, just
As time went on, Abby's case began to grow cold as Xenia tirelessly searched for her daughter, and people soon began to assume she had simply run away. This sentiment only became stronger when, after a few weeks of investigation, on November 6, 2013, Xenia found a letter from Abby in her mailbox. Strangely, the letter was postmarked on October 23rd, almost 2 weeks after her disappearance, but only got to Xenia a month later.
That she has run away from home, that she was safe, and she's not coming back. Abigail does as she is told.
The letter read, "Dear Mom, I miss you and love you so much more than you could imagine. I'm sorry I did this. I've seen the newspapers and TV news, and to answer your questions, yes, I'm alive, safe, and healthy. Throughout this entire letter, I just want to express how much I miss you, Mom, but I won't tell you where I am. I love you so much. Please stay strong for me, just as I'm staying strong for you. I've come to realize that along with love and courage, hope can speak louder than fear. Please don't lose hope. Hang in there for me, Mom. I had a dream where I came home and gave you the biggest hug ever. I don't know if it matters, but I like to think that it does. Please don't forget that I love you. Please give Sarah a hug for me and tell her that I love and miss her very much. I pray that her dreams will come true. Love always." Upon reading the letter, Xenia immediately knew it was her daughter's handwriting, but feared all was not as it seemed, and Abby wasn't simply hiding out somewhere, writing letters to her family of her own free will. So she handed the letter over to authorities. Upon handing the letter over to the authorities, investigators determined that she wrote the letter based on the tone and handwriting, and even found her DNA on it. They also shared Xenia's fear and decided not to release it to the public, fearing for Abby's life. As the days went by, Abby's case continued to grow cold, and in a bid to get new leads, the police released the letter she had sent. Sadly, this backfired quickly, as people in the community interpreted the letter as Abby confessing that she had run away and was hiding. Many people even accused the family of faking a kidnapping and demanding they repay the costs of the search. The community was furious, but those close to Abby insisted she did not run away. They believed she was taken against her will, and thankfully, the police agreed and continued investigating her disappearance as a kidnapping.
And was sent to her mother. We have been able to confirm that she has no source of income. Other than that letter, there has been no contact. We are concerned for her safety. She is not out there alone. She has somebody who is either helping her, whether that be a friend or what we fear is a foe. So we are going to continue this search for Abby, as Xenia has asked us to do, and as I think each and every citizen would.
Following the backlash on November 22nd, Xenia wrote a letter back to her daughter and went to the media to read it. In the months that followed, the police dedicated countless hours to searching for Abby. They conducted line searches on foot in the woods around the Canmore ski resort and scoured 1,000 square miles of surrounding wilderness. They searched the mountainous terrain and used helicopters to survey from above, sparing no effort or resources. Sadly, despite their tireless efforts, they found nothing. But then in a drastic turn of events, 9 months after Abby's disappearance, on July 20th, 2014, she simply walked into her home.
I remember when I came up to my doorstep, I could hear my mom talking on the phone. I could hear her voice. I opened the door and I said, "Mom?" And I remember she said, "Abby?" And then I remember she ran out and she said, "Abby!" And then she ran to me and we just hugged each other for like the longest time. And I felt so happy.
Right away, her mom knew Abby had been through quite a lot, and she was pale and had lost a lot of weight. But what really happened to Abby? On the afternoon of October 9th, 2013, Abby was walking home from school wearing new boots that were still breaking in and hurting her feet. As she walked home, a man pulled up next to her in a pickup truck and offered her a ride home. Seeing she was really close to her house and her feet were aching and blistering, she accepted, thinking it wouldn't be a big deal. But she was terribly wrong. After she got in, the man asked if he could stop at Home Depot before dropping her off. Abby agreed, even suggesting she could walk home from there. However, almost immediately, the man pulled out a gun and pointed it at her, threatening to slit her throat and blow her brains out if she screamed or tried to escape.
If you try to scream or try to escape or make any effort to escape, there will be consequences.
Using her intuition, Abby tried to get along with the kidnapper, hoping to avoid harm. She promised to behave and even assured him that if he let her go, she wouldn't tell anyone.
Thinking to myself, okay, I gotta work with this guy. I said, I don't judge you for this. If you let me go, I won't tell anybody about this. I said, you actually seem really smart.
You're trying to stroke his ego.
Exactly.
What she recalls next is unimaginable. Bound, sexually assaulted, locked in a soundproof shipping container.
Sadly, despite her attempts, the man handcuffed her, put a shirt over her head, and broke her phone to prevent it from being tracked. As the man drove on, she tried peeking through the car window to figure out where they were, but the man noticed and shocked her with a stun gun. And for the rest of the car ride, he repeatedly asked if the taser hurt and continued to tase her over and over again. After about an hour of traveling 30 miles, the man finally stopped at a home in Gorham and placed her in a tiny, cramped, windowless shipping container on his property. On the first day of her abduction, he covered her eyes with tape, put a shirt over her head, and then put a motorcycle helmet on her. He then zip-tied her hands and feet and proceeded to rape her. Sadly, this type of abuse continued throughout her captivity, as she suffered from constant abuse, including rape. The zip ties were so tight that when she finally got home, she had scars on her wrists and ankles and had lost feeling in her fingers and hands. The abuse became so bad that at one point the man bought a shock collar, claiming he wanted to try something new to keep her captive without hurting her as much.
You know, I'm thinking of finding something a little more humane for you to keep you quiet. He said, I'm thinking of a shock collar. You know, they're like dogs wear.
A shock collar.
I remember he put it on me.
He put the shock collar on her and told her to scream. When she slowly raised her voice, the collar shocked her, causing her to stop as the man told her. Now you know what that feels like. Throughout her time in captivity, the man refused to tell her his name, instructing her to call him Master and monitoring her with a security camera 24/7. Over the 9 months of captivity, Abby never experienced fresh air or sunlight and was confined by her captor, who chained her neck to restrict movement during assaults. But that wasn't all, as he also made her wear a diaper and use a tube with a toggle device for her to drink water. Day in and day out, threats of death for her and her family were constant as she watched news coverage of her disappearance, seeing accusations that she had run away. Despite this, Abby maintained hope, praying daily to survive and over time, managing to gain her captor's trust. She made him so comfortable that he even began allowing her to read.
How I gained his trust, I guess, was, I went along.
It was during this period that she discovered his name, Nate Kibbe, accidentally in a cookbook he allowed her to read. But although she had his name, she was far from safe, as he controlled her communication and freedom. He later allowed her to write one letter to her mom after watching her play on TV. And surprisingly, the one she sent was actually the second draft. See, in the first letter, he instructed Abby to make it sound like she had run away. However, Abby cleverly used her fingernail to make an imprint on the paper that said help. Sadly, Nate noticed this and violently attacked her for attempting to signal for help. He then made her write a new letter without any indication of her situation. This time she complied, and he allowed her to send the letter to her mother. As time went on, he began to trust her more and more, and their interaction evolved to the point where Nate involved Abby in a counterfeit money operation, seeking to deepen their bond. Abby reluctantly went along, pretending to cooperate to keep herself safe. However, things went wrong when Nate used the fake money to pay a sex worker, who was then arrested for using the fake cash. Spooked that the police might come to his house, on the evening of July 20th, 2014, Nate told Abby that the police would come soon, and he had to get rid of everything, including her. Abby immediately knew she was in danger, despite working hard for months to earn Nate's trust. But luckily, her months of trust building paid off, as that night, Nate drove her to a deserted road near where he had kidnapped her 9 months earlier and dropped her off. As Abby got out of the car, she felt relieved to breathe fresh air again after being trapped for so long. She walked the rest of the way home and quietly went inside her mother's house, finally free from her ordeal.
There were no cars coming either way. He said, "Get out."
Just like that.
Just like that. That was it.
After Abby reappeared, she was initially afraid to tell the police who had kidnapped her. At first, she described her captor as a heavy-set man with a dark complexion and a Massachusetts accent. But Xenia, her mom, later told the police that Abby hadn't been entirely truthful. Abby eventually confided in her mother that she knew the kidnapper's name and where he lived. And about a week after coming home, Abby finally told the police that Nate Kibbe was the man who had taken her. She described his house and the shed where she had been kept, and she even picked him out of a photo lineup. Thanks to Abby's identification, the police found Nate Kibbe and arrested him. He faced 205 charges, including kidnapping, sexual assault, robbery, and other serious offenses.
Team 5 has found 58 cases involving Nathaniel Kibbe, including a 1998 conviction that involved a 16-year-old victim.
Initially held on a $1 million bail, Nate spent 2 years in jail while working with prosecutors. Eventually, he pleaded guilty to 7 felony charges, including aggravated sexual assault and kidnapping.
One more lady that said she's a close friend. Can you accommodate her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. She was with you, and I don't know her name. I'll find her.
But the battle wasn't over for Abby, as during Nate's sentencing, Abby bravely faced him and delivered a victim impact statement that sent chills through the court.
I was told that I would have to give a victim impact statement and that I would have my time in court to talk. It seems like forever. 2 years have gone by, both fast and slow in different senses. But I often think about Kibbe, and what he did affects my life on a day-to-day basis. My name does not mean the same thing anymore that it did before October 9th. I'm attending school, and I'm afraid to let anybody know what my last name is. Nobody knows what my last name is. I fall asleep thinking about you, and some people might call you a monster, but I've always looked at you as human. And I want you to know that even though life became a lot harder after that I still forgive you. That I wish things didn't have to work in the way that they do. But I need to be safe, and so does my family. And I want you to know that I did not do this to you. I did not put you in prison. You put yourself in prison. So I can't carry that blame on my shoulders when it's simply not true that I put you in prison. When you decided to point that gun at me, that was not my choice. It was not my choice to go to your house. It was not my choice for you to rape me. It was not my choice for you to threaten me. You did all that yourself. I don't want to talk down on you, and I hope that you don't think that I am. I'm just telling you the truth. Because sometimes I feel like I wear this whole thing like a millstone around my ankle. Sometimes I still feel like I'm chained, and sometimes I don't feel like I'm completely free. There are certain aspects of my freedom that I can never get back. But in the same aspect, I want you to know that I appreciate my freedom because of you, and that I enjoy and appreciate life because of you, and that I never look at sunshine in the same way, and that I never think about fresh air in the same way.
In the end, Nate Kibbe was later sentenced to 45 to 90 years for his crimes, including kidnapping, sexual assault, witness tampering, and criminal threatening. As for Abby, she now works as a hairdresser and is raising her young son. She also shared her story through a Lifetime movie called A Girl in the Shed, which she helped to create. But what do you think about the Abby case? Was she just lucky to have survived? Or did she form a connection with her attacker? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe.